Alright, this is Season 1, Race 10 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. We are at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. And I think we're in for a interesting weekend. Especially, or I guess mainly, when you look at the weather forecast. So as you can see, it's rain, then dry, with sort of cloudy, then it gets sunnier, and then it's supposed to start raining again. Now, as I may have noted this previously, one thing I've noticed with the weather is that it tends to, when you look at the weather indicator of like the 7 different stages of the race in terms of the weather, everything tends to come a little earlier than it would necessarily indicate in the projection. So actually I think we're going to have a pretty lengthy run on the dries once the race gets going. And it's going to be interesting to see sort of, I guess, how things play out with the weather. And see how long we're going to be on dries, and if the rain at the end of the race comes soon enough that we need to switch back onto wets. So that'll be interesting to look at. But just should mention, new rival is Carlos Sainz. R&D tree were actually the second worst team on the grid. I'm trying to look, it's sort of hard to see, especially when the so we're at a point where the midfield pack is really sort of bunched up, because you've got, mostly you've got Mercedes at the top, at Ferrari and Red Bull, Racing Point sort of separating themselves as like the 4th best team, but from there it's just a blob of cars with Alfa Romeo, McLaren, AlphaTauri, Renault, Haas, and ourselves as sort of our where I feel like it's such a tight battle at that point that anybody could, emerge. Well, not necessarily emerge, but if the performance indicator is to be believed, the fight for sort of the back half of the points is going to be incredibly tight, which is actually pretty cool, I guess. Just because you're going to get a lot of action in the midfield, which is great to see. So, speaking of that, so we have 2 upgrades that are scheduled to come in for the Austrian Grand Prix. And we're actually going to go over to the R&D tree and purchase another upgrade. I think we're going to go with an aerodynamics upgrade, just because we already have a chassis and an engine waiting in the wings. So we'll do that for a major drag reduction upgrade. Streamlined suspension arms, which should be in, if it doesn't fail, in time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So we will go ahead and purchase that. And we will go to one-shot qualifying. Alright, we are ready to qualify for the French Grand Prix. Uh, all the practice programs went very well. Actually, very particularly well, considering that I was basically using all worn engine components for most of the sessions. Really doesn't matter. I mean, we're going to be obviously running the soft tire, but ultimately, that it's not going to make a difference for the race per se, since it's going to start in the wet and we'll all be on intermediates. So let's see where we can get, where our pace really is. Around Paul Ricard. Ooh, really did not get that first turn. Yeah, that's definitely one of the... See, this track has a lot of tricky corners, but not corners that are tricky in the sense that they're hard. It's just that they're easy to nail once you get them. They're easy to nail once you get them, but if you don't nail them, you'll mess up your entire lap. And Bottas is currently the provisional pole sitter, once again showing the apparent speed that his Mercedes has on his side of the garage. It still needs to be that Bottas is the one who's dominating on the Mercedes side of things. Hamilton only has 2 wins, Bottas has 4. E8 French Grand Prix. Let's get the next level of, or might, maybe not. Close. 100 more points.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Yep, so we are 8th, basically Noah's Ark in the first 3 rows, and then Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault and myself are in row number 4. And I guess just to illustrate sort of the time difference, you sort of have, if you look at, let me see, the time difference between myself and 16th, it's not that much. So you can sort of see just how close that midfield fight is. Where if you look at, my time of, 1.4 seconds off the lead, and then down to Kimi, which is almost 1.9. That's only half a second. It's not that much. Yep, so there you go. Be ready to start the French Grand Prix. In the early lead in the rivalry over Carlos Sainz, which is good.
Right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
We shall see. Yeah, so we'll see how this race turns out and how the weather plays a role. I guess we don't know if it's going to be heavy rain or intermediate. We're going to find out.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. We have 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo. The owner driver, Perez, Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty, and Pierre Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Sainz, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Romain Grosjean, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Russell, Calderon, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright, so we do gain a position after Leclerc presumably had some sort of engine penalty, maybe it's a component change, maybe he did something in practice and got him a penalty with some avoidable contact. I don't know what the case may be, but nevertheless, we gain a spot on the starting grid, which I will not complain about at all.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
Of course, that's correct. We are running Renault engines. Race strategy. Now, of course, it's calling for all intermediates, but as the session forecast indicates, we should be running in the dry sooner rather than later. So, yeah, we'll see how long that dry stint lasts, and if the rain at the end of the race is enough to force us back on to wet weather tires.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap. Looks like the weather is going to dry up in about 5 minutes. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so they're saying the rain is going to stop in about 5 minutes. And I guess the real question is going to be when the rain stops and when it eventually comes time to switch on to the other tires. Basically determine sort of what the correct choice is. Now, under normal circumstances, I'm pretty sure how this would have worked. It would have worked similar to
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres. Okay, here's who we're really fighting today, Ricciardo and Gasly.
I think this race is going to work very similar to sort of, or you would have if it was fully dry. It would have worked similar to China, or I guess Spain is another one where you have the front runners. Basically, all the cars qualified in the top 10 on the soccer tires picking 2 pit stops, where everyone racing outside the top 10 who is a free choice of tire can afford to pit only once. 1 versus 2 stops is actually something that makes France a more interesting race, at least on the game. But obviously that's out the window. So, my natural inclination is going to be to go onto the medium tires. But, again, I think it's going to all depend on when the rain stops, and then if it does come again later in the race, when it comes. So I really have no idea what the correct strategy call is going to be.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Yes, the rest of the grid forms up behind. Be wary of Leclerc starting behind us. Probably going to be really fast on the start. It's going to fly for lights. And we're underway. Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Solid start in the wet, I guess. They're side by side with Ricardo. A little cautious going into that first turn. Perez, they're inside. Ricardo gets by Albon, but we're also going to get by Albon. As we nearly plow into the back of Ricardo. We keep it straight.
We're looking good so far.
So we are on 1 position in P6 as Perez looks to make a move to the inside, but he backs out. Really feeling the effects of the lack of visibility. So much I can believe Bottas was the one who got away in the lead, and he did. Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel up front, followed by Verstappen, Ricardo, myself, Perez, Albon. And I think Leclerc and Gasly, I want to say, are 9th and 10th. I'm pretty sure it's Gasly in 10th, but nevertheless, we are in P6, getting 1 spot off the start. As I blatantly just did not pay attention to where I was going and drove off the road. That rolling thunder in the background. See, blows up to Daniel Ricciardo. See if we can get anything from the Australian. course, there will be no DRS in wet conditions, so nothing to necessarily worry about in that regard. Got very close to Ricardo. I think we have the speed to pass Ricardo. It's just a matter of actually getting to him and passing him in that position. Refreshments.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
Shortly for sure, but not quite yet. It is still raining. I guess at this point, we're just waiting for the rain to stop. Right on the rear bumper of Ricardo. Contact. Not what I was looking for. Front wing looks okay. I don't notice any significant damage, which is good. Just a light tap.
We're leading our teammate by 12.7 seconds.
Now the pit window for these tires is lap 9. Something to keep in mind as we progress through this race. Because there have been instances in the past on the F1 games where I think teams will come
Right,
in.
we need to get past here. Use overtake. Use overtake.
Got somebody behind us.
Okay, clear.
Engine problem looks like. Give me one of the racing points. I think it's Lance Stroll. If we take a look here. Yep, it's Stroll that's slowing. He is the one who has a problem. Actually caused a bit of a jam up down the long back straight, which will help guys out like Danny Kvyat and the Williams guys and one of the Haas drivers. It definitely created a bit of a stack up there. Looks like Stroll is out of the race.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
Yep, and Stroll, there you go. He is out of the French Grand Prix. And now we're at the interesting point of the race where, as you can see, it has stopped raining. But the track is still producing enough spray to where it's obviously not dry enough for dry tires quite yet.
I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks. Let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
You were reading my mind there, Jeff. Actually, let's check the weather.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
Not telling me how much longer until the next rain comes. So I really think the medium tire is going to be the way to go. It's just going to be a matter of how long we're running in this state where it's stopped raining, but it's still not dry enough for dry tires. So I think that changeover point is going to be coming
A new strategy
very
is available
soon,
on the
and
MFD.
it tricked me.
Okay, copy that. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
You tricked me
Understood, copy
again.
that.
You literally asked me the same question twice. I don't know why you did that. And it was for intermediate tires, and we know the track is dry.
Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres. Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Okay, people are coming into the pits now. DRS. And actually, I'm curious to see what tires do they go on. Okay, they're going on to soft tires. From the looks of it. So I'll rewind it a little bit just to give me myself a better chance to decide.
Okay, we can take you this lap. Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop.
Yeah, let's see what the guys in front of us are doing. I think it wasn't too far. Well, this should be interesting because the Mercedes are double stacking. Ferrari is putting on soft tires. Verstappen is putting on softs. I mean, even if it's dry to the end of the race, I feel like we might be in a good spot because we can go long on the mediums and then maybe go for a softs at the end if the rain doesn't come soon enough. So I think I'm okay going with the medium tires.
Tatiana is coming in for a stop.
Even though pretty much everyone around me is not
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit. Go, go, go.
going for softs. They're all going for mediums.
Right, we have 2 stops left in this strategy. We have 2 stops planned.
I don't think we're going to have 2 stops left in the strategy. Now, I think there was people who didn't come in because of the traffic jam in the pits. Yeah, Norris, Latifi, and Grosjean are all going to be caught out here on intermediate tires, so sucks to be those 3. Poor souls stuck out there on their wet weather tires. Getting gobbled up by the people running dries. So we should gain 3 spots, which will put us 7th, I want to say, in the running order. When those guys come in, maybe 8th if Leclerc passes us. And Hamilton was the one who really got screwed on that pit sequence. And actually, I look at the race director, I think Vettel actually managed to jump Bottas in the pits. Either that or he got by him on the straight. I'm not really sure. Maybe Norris held him up a lot. But Hamilton definitely lost. Actually, Ricciardo was even ahead of Hamilton, so... Tough break for Lewis, for sure. We would be at a disadvantage on these mediums, but the guy's still in the wet weather tires. Ooh, and that's not good. As I say, the guys in the wet weather tires are holding up the guys on the dry tires, and that's going to give us a shot. And making some cheeky passes here. Round the outside. Got Perez. Get Hamilton. Ooh. Well, that's not exactly how I planned that. Very, argy-bargy, you might say. They go really wide, nearly swipe off Hamilton, who's now under pressure from Perez and possibly Leclerc. So the new running order is Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo, myself in 5th, followed by Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc, Gasly, and one of the Alfa Romeos, which is Kimi Raikkonen. So it's going to be interesting. So I think we're going to be in a decent position either way of what happens here, because if it goes dry to the end of the race and the rain that's supposed to be at the end isn't enough to force pit stops right at the very end, we'll be on the fastest tire at the very end of the race, because if we stick it out long enough on these tires, we should be able to run an 8 or 9 lap stint on the softs to end it. If it does plan on raining, and depending on when it hits, we could potentially stretch these tires out to the farthest point, and then go into the wets. I realize in hindsight that we could have gone with the hard tires and basically just sort of secured ourselves a one-stop, but I don't know, I just wasn't liking the possibility of going on the hards.
Vettel's in first place.
Especially if everyone else around me was going on the mediums or on the softs, as Sergio Perez makes a pass, and we'll see if we can overtake him in the chicane. I can't quite get there. Not quite get there. Sergio gets on by. Now, we got Lewis Hamilton behind us, as well as Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Vettel's hit the fastest lap of the race. As we're somehow within range of DRS to sort of help us stay in front of Hamilton.
The car ahead is a second a lap faster than you. Gap to teammate behind is 17.1 seconds.
Hamilton went to make a move, but could not get it done. I think we might be sitting ducks here. Not in DRS range of Perez. Running wide doesn't help. Overtake mode. We got Hamilton and Leclerc. Here comes Hamilton. Oh, contact there. Maybe side by side into the chicane. Ooh, I terribly cut that corner. Just getting blown by side. As Hamilton is not going to get run through that chicane, and Leclerc is actually going to get a 2-for-1 there. So we're now down to 8th. So we're going to lost 3 spots, and a train really forming behind us. So again, the big question is going to be, we are on the mediums, they are on the softs, their tires are going to fall off before mine. So it's a question of when does that fall off happen? Sort of running a conscious strategy to pretty much everyone else in the field right now. And here comes Kimi Räikkönen. Alfa Romeo just blowing right by us on the straight. And there you go, Kimi Räikkönen up into P8. We're down to P9.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Cheeky little save. And we resume. We are within DRS range of Räikkönen, which is good. Keeps us from being totally swamped. And Räikkönen does not have DRS, so we might have to be able to take the fight to him here. Right up his rear end, coming out of the chicane. Rich mix, overtake, DRS. Räikkönen is just too far ahead. Let's make a move. It was really the exit of the chicane that really hurt me. I just wasn't close enough to do anything really. Oh, we have another car in trouble.
Safety car, safety car.
Oh,
No
and the
overtaking,
safety
reduce
car
your
is
pace.
out.
Keep your delta
Just
number
as I
positive as we
lose
form
a
up.
spot
A new strategy is available on the
Pierre
MFD.
Gasly.
Copy that.
Actually, we got a bunch of cars coming in. I guess it's people... I guess it's people opting to come in for... I guess another set of softs, maybe? I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel pretty comfortable staying out. Personally, I don't know what these guys are changing onto. Oh, they're going on to hard tires. I see what the play is here. They're switching they're all switching onto hard tires. That's very interesting. What's more interesting is that Vettel and Bottas stayed on track. They did not come into the pits. And speaking of, we have so many cars coming in, so I want to see how this turns out with the massive gaggle of cars in the pit lane. Let's go to Lewis Hamilton. So all these cars coming in at the same time, this is going to hold them up. And he'll actually jump Leclerc. So Hamilton jumps Leclerc. But I think Ricciardo stays ahead of him. Let's see who's in. There's Albon. Waiting to get out. This is Sainz waiting to get out. Ocon's waiting to get out. Just looking through the pit lane. So Verstappen is gonna get out of the pits ahead of everyone. And then Perez, and then Ricciardo, then Hamilton, then Leclerc, then it looks like Gasly. So Latifi's retirement has really shaken things up here. In a major way, actually, you also have Lando Norris staying on track. I don't know if that was just the traffic jam off pit road was so big, or what the deal was there, but yeah, so those guys are definitely going to the end of this race. Bottas and Vettel, I have no idea what they're doing.
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
We do have more worn tires, but I don't know, I still think we're going to have somewhat of an advantage. Let's see what Vettel and Bottas do. They're staying out. So whatever strategy they're committed to, they are fully committed to it. As is Lando Norris. So Vettel, Bottas, myself, and Lando Norris are pretty much committed to whatever strategy it is we're doing. Maybe they see the opportunity, Vettel and Bottas, to switch onto the mediums and be faster than everyone else they're racing. I guess it's all going to determine when everything pops off, really. We still don't know if there is rain coming. At least it has been reported.
Couldn't receive that. Repeat the message. Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes' time. Rain in 10 minutes. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so maybe if the rain is coming in 10 minutes, we can try to hold out until the rain comes. So the guys on hards are definitely going to stick it out to the rain. The guys on softs are going to have to pit. And we're sort of in that no man's land. If you really look at it. We're not necessarily...
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
We're not necessarily in a spot where...
Okay, let's get ready to go racing.
As we run into Bottas, it brake checks us out of nowhere.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So I legitimately have no idea how this is all going to play out right now. Is Verstappen on the verge of winning this race? I legitimately have no idea. Which makes this race even more exciting. So I really don't know how it's going to play out. Could this be the chance that Hamilton has to gain points back on Bottas? As Vettel slowly leads the field back around. Here we go, back to green. Vettel's gone. We're actually gaining a lot of Bottas.
The track is clear.
And we get him for second place. I did not expect that. You're up to P2. And we're chasing down the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. And I just thought about this. Could this be the... As Bottas... Oh, look at this. He's coming back at us again. Not as quickly, but he's there. Pushing him off as far as we can. We're going to beat him into the chicane. Actually squeeze him out a lot. He's going to fall in the clutches of Norris and Verstappen.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Despite holding off Bottas there, he's going to have the pace to, or he should anyway, to catch right back up to us again. And Vettel hits pits, as does Bottas. There they go. They did not waste any time.
Okay, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds.
As does Norris, and we are the effective race leaders.
This lap, push hard on the in-lap.
Have the effective lead. The French Grand Prix in a very precarious position in regards to the weather and the tires. See, if the rain were going to be hitting in the next 2 to 3 laps, that would work out tremendously for us. It would give us basically the effective race lead, but I'm not sure, again, they said 10 to 15 minutes, so that could mean, you know, again, there have been, and this has happened plenty of times in the previous F1 games, where rain will come at the very end, but it's too light to force change onto the intermediates, and it's also too late in the race where it won't force anybody to come in.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more. DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
I think we're going to be coming under attack any lap now from Max Verstappen in his Red Bull. Like I said in the past, I'm not gonna just, unless it's, I'm getting lapped, I'm not gonna roll over for anyone. If they're gonna pass me, they're gonna have to earn it. I'm not gonna make it easy for anyone. Actually, I didn't check. So what tires did Vettel and them go on? They went on... Bottas went on hards, as did Vettel, and Norris went on another set of softs. So... not sure about that play by Lando, to be completely honest. So I think what I'm going to do is try to make it to lap 19, or maybe lap 18 at this rate. Lap 18, 19, 20, 21. As Verstappen, fight him! Ooh. That's not what I wanted. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I was doing math in my head. I think we could come in at lap 18, going on to 19. As Verstappen gets past with the lead. But I think we could come in on 18, going on 19 for softs. And that'll take us to the end. It's one of the Haas cars is into the pits. That's Grosjean. Not a good race for one of the hometown drivers. With this current rate, if we were pitting this lap, which we're not, we would come out 18th. So right around where Bottas and Norris are.
Has newer tires, car behind on newer tires.
And actually, I completely missed this, but there must have been a big fight going behind me because Perez, he was ahead of Ricciardo, and he got totally... I must have missed it, but he got totally minced by Ricciardo, and Perez is on the verge of getting passed by Hamilton. So something happened to Perez that really is costing him here in a major way. Leclerc has actually gotten by Hamilton in all of this. Let's actually see. So I think Perez must have gotten slowed in the chicane. And, oh, are they 3 wide? They might be 3 wide. They were kind of sort of 3 wide for a second, but Leclerc just made an awesome double overtake. Into that fast right-hander, getting Perez and Hamilton. So good job by Leclerc to get those positions. And good job by Ricciardo in that Renault. has to be said. He's doing it. I mean, the rain comes when we think it does. He's going to be an effective P2. Which is going to be a great result for that Renault team, especially, being the French Grand Prix, of course.
We're leading our teammate by 17.9 seconds.
I think, as we just got, again, completely just do not pay attention to where we're going. Focusing on the mini-map, and not where we're going.
Understood, stopping this lap. Roger that, soft tyres at the next pit stop.
So we're gonna come in this time by for a set of soft tires. And I said Ricciardo was in a good position. I don't know if he'll be there for long because he's got Leclerc and Hamilton breathing down his neck. Yeah, Ricciardo's definitely like me, either hoping the rain's coming soon or Leclerc and Hamilton start fighting each other. As Verstappen is absolutely waltzed off into the distance right now. Here we go, into the pits, or what will be our final stop, unless the rain comes, and we'll see where we come out. And we're going to be well behind the rest of them. We're going to be well down the order, no question. It's just a matter of how far down we end up.
Go now.
There we go. We're out. Luckily, we are at the end of the pit straight.
Okay, you only have to stop once now. One stop left.
And we come out right behind Lando Norris and our teammate Tatiana Calderon. I think my immediate goal here is to get by our teammate.
You'll be on the softs.
So in the event that it does rain, we have to hit where you don't get held up by our teammate, as everyone will inevitably dive into the pits at the same time. And this is going to be a very juicy DRS straight here. Calderon's going to get swamped probably. She goes to block Norris. Nothing to do though. Norris just a better car. Get a big lockup. Somebody locked up big time as we go around the outside of our teammate. We get the job done.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Pass made. We're into P18. Norris gets by Russell. Can we make a move on Russell? We'll contact. That's okay. We are through to P17.
If you think you can get past, make use of the overtake button.
Alright,
and see what you can
overtake,
do.
DRS, we're not even in rich mix. Go to the outside of Norris, which will become the inside. And easy as you like, we are into P16. Next up is Valtteri Bottas. And in front of him is Sebastian Vettel. Obviously these guys clearly, did not make the right strategy call, got really... I guess they really had no choice, because when the safety car came out, they were already past the pit entry, whereas Verstappen and everybody else were not. So, sort of how it shakes out, unfortunately, just one of those situations.
The gap behind us is 2.4 seconds.
That you can't really prepare for, it just sort of happens. We should have DRS on this straight against Bottas. Going the rich mix. Got DRS. Even on speed.
Pit window open.
Overtake.
Let's box this
Can we
lap.
make a move here? We can. We are by Bottas in a P15 with Kevin Magnussen up next in the Haas. As I believe Lando Norris came in again for another pit stop. Speed on Magnussen here, gonna make another move to the outside. Squeezes us a little bit, but he's got nothing to offer. And we get by him. Up next in front of
Gap
us
to car in front is 1.6 seconds.
is Sebastian Vettel, P13. What's funny is that as it stands now, we're actually on track for our worst finish of the season. That's not necessarily indicative of our performance. It just, I was just saying, it's just an example of us getting caught out in strategy. Though that being said, you know, I feel like after Vettel, there's a big train of cars ahead. And I feel like the old adage for me on these F1 games, and maybe this is something that other people experience as well, is that I feel like if you see the traffic ahead of you, you sort of, if you see cars in front of you that you're going to be passing, or that you're going to be battling for position, and you know you're faster than them, it sort of just gives you that extra little motivation to like go faster. If that makes sense. I don't know, it's just the fact that I can see them is giving me more motivation to attack and just push as hard as I can. So even at this rate, I don't think that points are necessarily out of the question. So I think what's helping me say, I can see also that Vettel is catching the same pack of cars. We're both catching the pack in front of us.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Just seeing those cars in front of me.
Gap to teammate behind is 13.5 seconds.
It's just giving me more motivation to go faster. Already, Vettel's going to have DRS on Giovinazzi. And so Vettel has a good shot of getting into the points right now. And as you can see, the dark clouds are starting to loom once again over Circuit Paul Ricard, as the rain is definitely close. And again, I feel like we're at the point where unless it starts absolutely pouring, I don't think anyone is going to be coming into the pits for wet weather tires this late in the game. I just don't really see that as a possibility. just, you know, knowing how the AI has worked on these games.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
And like I said, the rain could even be light enough that it really doesn't, like, disable DRS or really affect the racing in any way. As we go to look for Passo Giovinazzi, we get him for P13. Oh, no, not quite. Came back at us with a bad first chicane. We pulled him off just barely. We're into P13. So just trying to sort of follow Sebastian Vettel's lead here. Catching the guys in front of him.
Condition is still looking good.
Now we're into a DRS train, but we're definitely faster than Raikkonen. Is Vettel going to make a move on Raikkonen before the chicane? No, he doesn't.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Pushing Vettel through the corners. We're right on his rear end, and we're finally going to get past Sebastian Vettel side by side. I think we're going to get him into this corner as the raindrops begin to fall. Oh, what happened there? Okay, I think I went to make a dive on Raikkonen that might not have been there. It's a little easier for that corner this time. There we go, that's better. 12. We're going to Raikkonen here from the 11. Ran the outside and the inside. A little bit of an awkward passing zone. We're going to cheekily try to stay behind him so we can get the DRS. He's trying to play the same games, I think. We're going to get the DRS, and Raikkonen gets out of shape. Get by him for the position. And now Raikkonen is going to get swamped by both Vettel and his teammate. And Giovinazzi actually is going to fight Vettel here. And now, the rain is really starting to fall. And Verstappen stays out. Like I said, I feel like once we're at this point into the race, as long as the DRS is still activated, they're not going to come into the pits with the wet tires. And again, we're so late into the race that it's not really worth it to come in and change tires at this point.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. The gap to the car ahead is 3.2 seconds. Copy.
So, it looks like, unless we're able to do anything magical in these last 2 laps, we're going to finish P11.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Which, if that's the case, it's a very interesting race for us, where we go basically
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
And
Confirmed.
the DRS has just been disabled. So this should make for a very interesting last lap. Do any of the leaders decide to come in, or I gotta think that they stay out. It's too late in the race. They're coming to the last lap. no way anybody dives into the pits for wet weather tires. Yep, just as I predicted, Verstappen stays out, Leclerc stays out, Hamilton stays out. Pretty much at this point, everybody's staying out. The conditions are definitely prime for wet weather tires, but nobody's going to dare come in now. Again, it's the last lap of the race. And nobody wants to risk losing that track position. So we're just going to have to skate it out here.
This is your final
on this last
final
lap
of the race. We're leading our teammate by 29.6 seconds.
The conditions are certainly not ideal. As we run wide through turn 4. So looking at the running order, it's going to be Verstappen winning the race with Leclerc and Hamilton rounding out the podium.
The gap to the car behind is 4.8 seconds.
And then you have Ricciardo in 4th, Perez in 5th. It's like going to be Gasly in 6th, Sainz in 7th, Ocon in 8th, Albon in 9th. Daniel Kvyat rounding out the points finishers in 10th. So technically not our worst finish. That would be, I think, our full place finish at Monaco, but out of the points nonetheless, which is a little disappointing, especially considering where we started. I took a gamble on a strategy, and it ultimately, it did not work out. But Max Verstappen wins the French Grand Prix for Red Bull Racing. Second win of the season after taking it in China. The first non-Mercedes driver to win multiple races in this season. And yep, we're going to come home. P11.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Ant, talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would
did.
have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Safety car definitely changed everything.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Well, Ants, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Alright, so there is the French Grand Prix. As far as the points getters, solid day for AlphaTauri, both cars in the points. Same can be said for Renault, both cars in the points. The timing of the safety car is basically perfect for Verstappen, Leclerc, and Hamilton, so can't really complain about that. Vettel and Bottas, very disappointing, both out of the points. And there you go, yeah, Norris and Latifi, Stroll and Latifi out of the race. Latifi's one is the DNF, actually, both Canadians were the ones who DNF'd, and Latifi's was the one that changed the race. So, let's look at the standings. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead by only 5 points, while Max Verstappen vaults into third, only 42 points out of the lead as he gains a significant amount. We are sort of on our little own island right now in points. We're about 24 behind Leclerc, and then about 15 ahead of Albon. So those point totals can switch really at any point. Right now, or at least we're holding station, which is good. Constructors, anything really changed there? No, not really. Mercedes are still ahead by a lot. Ferrari still in second by a fair amount. Red Bull caught up to them a little bit. We're still in fourth, with our real contenders right now only being McLaren and Renault. So yeah, there we go. That is French Grand Prix. So we're up to $4.95 million.
This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
That we are. As we take a look at activities, does make a ton of sense to do the driver promotion filming because you're basically just wasting a day. So it basically wants you to just do stuff like this. So I think because we are doing an aero upgrade coming up, I think the best move is to do some aero team building. Because I think if the morale of the department is good, it'll decrease the chances of you getting a parts failure in the development. So I think we'll go with that one. It costs us only $5,000, but it's not too bad. And actually I was going to check. So Calderon's contract expires on July 6th. And the Austrian Grand Prix is on July the 2nd. So we actually have... So actually the contract after the Austrian Grand Prix. So again, we're going to save up the money, do Calderon's contract, and I believe her contract is still at $2 million. It should be easy to handle. And actually, I think what we'll do is we'll go with driver perks. And I guess we might as well just get this one. Get the social media team for 275 grand. Just so that we're level 1 and everything there. And we have a new sponsor available to us, which is good news. Look and see what we got here. I really like the sponsor logo, but the goal is pretty unattainable considering where our team is. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look at the logos I like, and then we'll see what the goal is, and then we'll sort of adjust from there. Some of these logos are definitely a little better than others. Okay, so the ones I think I'm going to look at are Sudo, which is where you achieve the fastest lap during any session of the race weekend, which is a weekly income of almost 200 grand and a goal bonus of 352 grand. And then there were two others I was looking at. Which were DSP Optics, which is achieve a top 10 finish during the race, which, considering that we've only finished outside of the top 10, I think like twice, is a pretty achievable goal should be on most race weekends. But another one that caught my attention was Monet Paris. And the goal here is score more points than the team directly above you in the vehicle performance comparison. Now if we go back and look at the R&D, the car directly above us in the vehicle performance comparison is Haas. Now, obviously this could change as, oh, that's great, we had a parts failure, thanks for telling me. So that won't come in for Austria, which sucks. And it's 550 resource points. That's just lovely. Though I guess we did get the one chassis upgrade, which is good, I suppose. Figured that was going to happen, unfortunately. But anyway. The team directly above us is Haas. Now, Haas, despite being above us, or at least based on my driving, we have been greatly outperforming Haas. Haas, even though they're above us, they're not even scoring points at this rate. So I feel like that could be a pretty achievable goal. But I think as a whole, if you look at DSP optics, it's only $12,000 less than the goal bonus, but the weekly income is more by about 33K? So I think as a whole, DSP optics is the better bang for our buck, and it's a goal that, because if we depending on the development, the Monet Paris sponsor could change very rapidly. So I think DSP Optics is the one we're gonna go with, especially considering the next race is Austria, which is a race that I do very well at. So we'll sign with DSP Optics, and we'll go put that sponsor on the car. And the question is where to put it. For some reason, some of the sponsors have been dropped off the car. That's very strange. But we can fix that, so it's not a big deal. DSP Optics. Trying to figure what's a little bit more visible on the side pod. And I'll put Zainetto up here. There you go. There's the car. And it's starting to look pretty good, if I don't say so myself, in terms of filling it up with sponsorships. And actually, their whole sponsors that I would have wanted to get, so more so from an aesthetic standpoint. So yeah, I think the car is looking pretty good. Check the car again to make sure everything is on there and good. It is. It's great to see. We should go to customization. Are there any new helmets available? I think I might have seen one. I think I'll stick with the helmet I got. The tuxedo one is very funny. But I think I like the race suit we got, like the design of it. Still keep it as is. Gloves as is. Character poses. Actually, I'm liking that one. We'll go with that one. At the same time, I don't think it actually shows off our sponsor that well. Now, you know, we'll stick with that one. That's fine. Alright, so that stuff's taken care of. And we'll advance through the timeline here.
As we continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And that is it for this race episode.